Hi, I'm Ben Anderson. I'm the CEO of PatientStream, and I am all about revolutionizing how hospitals communicate. So about 5 years ago, I was working at Harborview Medical Center, implementing third-party applications there when I ran into a problem. So the operating room was building new OR rooms, and they needed a better way to communicate what was going on between two physical locations. So there were about 16 OR rooms moving to about 24. And the solution that they were using until then were these large, ugly, physical whiteboards that they'd have to write on. Anytime there was a change to the schedule, they would erase, rewrite, and it was taking all of their time. And the rest of the time was spent answering phone calls, trying to figure out, with other people trying to figure out what was going on. Being told to go to this side. So, when I looked at the rest of the hospital, I realized that this was a universal problem. Everywhere we went, there were the same problems with traditional whiteboards, which were inefficient communication tools. They're difficult to maintain and synchronize, as if you change it one place, you have to change it to all the other whiteboards in the department. There's limited data displayed, and then there's always the risk of human error. You can write something wrong, you have sloppy handwriting, and then it's hard to read. So what did I do? I came up with what I thought was a very simple electronic solution: large televisions that automatically pulled the information from the scheduling system, the intraoperative charting system, the anesthesia system, all of that valuable data that they were already capturing in their existing IT solutions. I grabbed it, repurposed it in real time, and gave that information back to the providers in the way that they wanted. I thought it was simple, but the reaction I got was huge. First, it eliminated duplicate entry. No longer did you have to spend all of your time writing on a whiteboard. As soon as you made that change in your scheduling system, that automatically populated up on all of the boards in the department, as well as a website that was anywhere inside of the hospital or outside of the hospital. So it's accessible anywhere. It also improves patient safety. The more accurate the information, the more likely you are to spot a problem before it happens. So you make sure you're doing an operation on the left leg instead of the right. But once we had that information sitting up on the board, the question was, what else can we do with it? Because that's a great first step. The next step really is to take that information and drive efficiencies, to find out what really makes the department profitable, what makes the department tick, and to put that information right in the face of the providers so they can't ignore it. These are things like room turnover time. In the world of ORs, they track the time between when a patient leaves the room and when the next patient enters the room. It's called the turnover time. It's every minute that there's not a patient in that room means that they're not billing for that minute, but also that means that the next patient that should be in that room is waiting. Another is first case start time. There's a statistic that says that every minute you're late at the start of the day getting into that room on time equals about 15 minutes by the end of the day. So that can quickly turn into an hour-and-a-half delay for the last patient in the room, which leads to very unhappy patients, especially when they've been fasting in order to get that surgery and haven't eaten all day. So the reception has been tremendous, as I mentioned. We're now in over 60 departments across 4 medical centers, and the growth really came naturally. I was employed at the University of Washington at Harborview Medical Center, so I built the software firsthand there. And saw it into inpatient areas, outpatient areas, radiology, the Department of Surgery, as I mentioned, and all across the hospital. So it's really a hospital-wide solution. In October of last year, I started PatientStream to take this technology and make it available to other hospitals. In January of this year, I closed my first round of funding from the W Fund. Got money out of the W Fund. It was a big win. And so now we are operational. Right now, there are 2 of us, myself and Keith Streckenbach. Again, I developed the technology while I was working at Harborview Medical Center. I graduated with my MBA from the University of Washington last year. Keith has had about 25 years in the medical startup world, in the sales and marketing department, which is what I need most. We've got an awesome technology that people are raving about, that's saving doctors and other care providers time, and really making hospital experiences better for patients, and now we have to get it out to the masses. And then I've got a fantastic advisory board to make sure that I don't trip up too badly along the way. The first is Dave Marver. He was the former CEO of Cardiac Science Corporation. Dr. Yan Zhao, who's really leading hospital efficiencies in the academia world and has written over 60 papers on the subject. And then finally, Dr. Suter, who is the chief anesthesiologist at Harborview Medical Center and is a big proponent of the software. So that's who we are. I think that was less than 5 minutes. I was really trying to make it under. I was told there's a big buzzer if I went over. So I just want to thank you for your time today, and I really appreciate it. So one last thing is that we did close our first round. We're going to be starting to look at our second round early next year, but we're always looking for good people. It'll likely be a few months before we start hiring developers. But if you wanted to get into the exciting world of medical sales, talk to me. If you're ambitious, I'll put you to work. Thank you.